I decided to stay with a couple of my soldiers, just hang out. We were just hanging out, trying to relax a little bit because it was real calm, and figure out what we were going to do when we got home, joking and what we're going to drink, what we're going to do, where we're going to go, things like that. And just sit there and hanging out, lit a cigarette, and then, mortars were coming in. They did every night. And you just get used to it. And you can tell after a while where they're going to land, where they're coming from, things like that. And they were landing about a click behind us. So we knew we were good. And then we heard the gate guards shooting back, and some of the recon guys went out the gate after them. So we thought we were good. And you can always hear them coming in as a very distinct sound, and you can see it. It kind of looks like a satellite until it gets closer. It's that red and white flashing, which is the heat from it spinning. Well, they always say you never hear the one that hits you, and that's true. We were just hanging there, and then all of a sudden I was laying 6 feet to my left, and my leg was over there, and I was over there. And my soldiers, they didn't make it. My leg didn't stabilize until 2 years later is when it really, truly, finally stabilized. And, new contractors every 6 months, it's going through new fittings every 6 months. And each one had a different take on how to do it, on what would be good for you. So I've tried basically every kind of socket you can think of. I've tried more feet than they, probably have stocked in this building. I've tried 5 different legs, different, pylons for each leg. I mean, you name it. I've tried it all. You got to get a reputation or a rapport really with your prosthetist, so they know what you want to do, how you want to do it. And then they got to get to know you and your medical background and your limb to really get you fit the way you need to be fit and the way you can be fit comfortably. And sometimes I would just say, to heck with it, I'll deal with it, and keep the same socket for 3 months, but I would wear my leg very sparingly because it hurt too bad. But, being a war-wounded veteran, of course, all the VS, veteran service organizations, the VFW, the American Legion, so on and so forth, they all find out that you're coming into town from various sources. And every amputee I've met since coming into town, where I'll go to Fourroux, go to Fourroux, go to Fourroux. And then once I finally got here, it was fantastic. Because, it took about 3 weeks, I think, before we finally got me, how I am now. But here it's family. Since day one, they treated me like family. Does this hurt, whatever. And they didn't stop until I had no pain. And they've done things that nobody's ever done. Everybody. And every process I've ever had, every doctor I've ever had, has always said that with my limb, I would never be able to have the suction socket that is just with no liner, just the skin to socket. That I would never be able to have that kind. And that's what I have. And it's the most comfortable thing I've ever had. I wear my leg every single day. And they're the first prosthetists, any prosthetist here. Not one of them told me what I should do or what I need to do. Not one. They all listened to what I wanted to do, and they figured out a way to make it happen. For me, because my background with prosthetics, with so many different prosthetists and things like that, and not really working out, it was kind of euphoric for me. I loved it, every minute of it. When they were asking me questions, they just, what do you want to do? Was basically the initial question. And I said, I want to run again. That's what I told him, and he just looked at me and said, okay. And then, how do you walk? And I just explained, okay, no problem. They weren't sitting there checking it off the list. They're not, all right, this guy's done, now next. It's not that way at all. They just sit there and they're with you. Whether it's one guy, whether it's 3 guys, they're right there with you. And they're listening to you, and, they're just taking it all in of what you want to do and how you want to live your life as an amputee. Because let's face it, we don't have a choice. Once we're amputees, that's pretty much how we're going to be. And you got to do everything you can to make the absolute best of it and live a full life. And they do that here. They're recreating people's lives. Now I moved to Indiana, but I'm still going to come here. And I've okayed that, gotten that. Even in the Indiana VA, they allow me to come down here to Fourroux. I meet amputees at the VFW or wherever when I'm here in town, and if they ask me, where's a good process, I say, go to Fourroux. Because if you want to do something, they're going to figure out a way for you to do it. Come here with an open mind. You've been out there and you're kind of jaded, after, years or months or what have you, or never even have gone to a prosthetist. You're a new amputee, and you have, certain, holdups or ideas in your head of what you're going to see and get here when you come here. And there's nothing like this place. Nothing. So if you, are an older amputee, you've been an amputee for years and years and years, or you're a brand new amputee, come here with an open mind, because whatever you think before you come here is not going to be what it's like when you get here. It's going to be better.